Smash, Marry, Kill. Slush God, Mike Schneider, me. Go.
Smash, marry, kill.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Yo, thank you for doing this with me.
Of course.
Episode 2.
Don't leave me there.
Don't leave me there. Episode 2, Father Awful. I cannot tell you how stoked I am for this episode.
Yeah.
1, because you're handsome. 2, because you're no, really just because I don't know. This is sick. I feel like it's like episode 2. I'm hyped. I hope you're hyped.
Oh, dude,
Got
keep
some
on
good
going.
questions.
I want to like add on how many more handsomes you
Yeah,
get.
right. Yeah,
Get to like 5
super
at least.
handsome, and you're super handsome.
Thank you.
And so listen, obviously we're going to talk about Awful.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about your past. We're going to talk about your future. We're going to talk about your dream fingerboard sponsors, your appearance in a Justin Bieber music video, your possible clips in Baker 3. But first, we got to start from the beginning. Even though we're friends, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I have no idea where you're from. Talk to me about where you're from. Where were you born?
I was born in Long Beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was born in Long Beach, and then I lived here for, I don't know, probably like 4 years, and then I moved to Colorado until I was like 10 with my mom, and then I came back, and I lived with my grandma for a while, and just kind of, that was in Norwalk, and I just bounced around everywhere, like Norwalk, and then East LA, and then Downey, and then,
I don't know how we never ran into each other.
yeah.
I figure I was like Montebello, Whittier, East
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Wow.
just one of those weird things where it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah. It depends on like, I mean, what you're a little bit older than I am, so
89.
yeah, so I'm 91, so it's like,
Okay.
we might have crossed each other's paths in some weird street or,
Isn't that kind of like a reoccurring thing in like our track record of being like in the same,
oh yeah.
the same like group of friends, just not knowing each other, same team, just not knowing each other?
Well, it's kind of weird too. It's like when like Nikki and I were first dating, like she hated it because it was like we would go somewhere and I'd run into somebody all the time, and she was like, "What
Just
the
always know
fuck?
someone.
Like, how do you know like everybody?" Like, and I'm like, it's a small world. Skateboarding's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll run into somebody at like Disneyland or like at
Right.
Costco or something, and you know
just
what I mean? But it's like
skated with them.
you're in my area, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, everybody from skateboarding, like especially going to different skate parks and all that. It's like you meet tons of people. So I mean,
Absolutely.
we probably could have been in
We
at
probably
least
could've-
like a couple
I
mile
was about to
vicinity.
say.
You know what I mean? Like,
At very least.
Yeah.
You said you were 10 when you moved back?
yeah.
Is that when you started skateboarding, or did you start skateboarding in Colorado?
So I actually, I rollerbladed before anything.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was,
Okay.
I wouldn't say like, as every kid probably just rollerbladed and like fucked around.
Yeah.
I was doing that. Like, so my mom, where she lived in the apartment in Boulder, was like, I would say it was kind of like a hippie extreme kind of like complex where like there was 2 like pro snowboarders that lived there. Like there was
Really?
like these couple other like hippie couples, and like it was a little compound that like they had a quarter pipe, but I never like really, you know what I mean? Like I never really like touched a skateboard, but they did, you know what I mean? I saw it, so I was around it. I don't think it really grasped then though, because I was like, I think rollerblades were so much easier.
Yeah. It feels oddly safer in a pair of rollerblades.
Yeah, I feel like it's a complete opposite now.
Yeah.
Like with the balance point of like slipping back, like those boots are going to be up in the air, and I'm going to be head first going into the ground. You know what I mean? Like it's so
Absolutely.
weird.
Yeah. When it comes to your first experience though with skateboarding, when was that moment that you kind of, I know it sounded like you've been around
Yeah.
it for a long time, but when was that like moment that it really grabbed you and was really like, I want to skateboard?
Honestly, it was probably I was like 11, maybe 12. My dad's dad, his wife at the time, Rita, she bought me like a board from like the swap meet. It was like literally like ABC 1, 2, 3. It was like the most janky thing in the world.
Okay.
But she bought that, and I was like, oh dang, like okay, like, and I just kind of picked up on it, and my dad just kind of was like, all right, like he built me a ramp, even though like I was nowhere capable of like even getting towards that. And then he was always supportive. Him and my grandma, like they took me to the skate park like all the time. Like,
was it both of your parents in the picture at all times, or?
no, my parents have never really like been together, like ever really. Like it was more so like when I was younger, probably like, I don't know, like, yeah, when I was like starting to skate, they were kind of trying, but then it just kind of, it probably was for the best. I don't really know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably something you block out as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were just, my grandma was probably who raised me a lot. You know what I mean? Like my actually, it's my dad's grandma. It's my great grandma.
Wow.
She was like all about it. Like she would go walk the mall for like 2 hours or more and just like leave me at the skate park and let me do my thing and come back and be like, "You're good." I'm like, "No, I want to still gonna skate," and she'll just go like on a walk. And she was like 70 something at the time. Like she did it till she was like 80. You know what I mean? So it was like pretty wild.
Okay. So when you started skating, was this like middle school? Going to high school?
It was fourth grade.
Oh, it's fourth grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 12 and fourth grade. That's a lot of people don't know is I had a repeat first grade.
You had to repeat. So this is a podcast exclusive.
Yeah.
Father Awful
Not a
does
lot of
first
people know
grade
that.
twice. Okay.
Well, coming from Colorado to California, the credentials were different.
Okay.
And they said that I wasn't like active enough. I didn't talk enough, and like I wasn't like up to the standards, so that they thought that I should like redo it.
Well, now you're like a social butterfly, right? But it's like, so when you were a kid, were you just like a weird kid, or
I don't know.
what were you like as a kid?
ADHD, crazed, weird kid. I don't know, but that's a weird thing about it. It's like I don't know how they said I didn't really talk enough when like
there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
just teach me.
You probably saw me in the playground acting like an idiot, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't like not doing anything. Like, my mom taught me to be very outgoing and all that. You know what I mean? My mom's the goofiest person I know. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like I definitely wasn't up to that.
Yeah.
I just think that they just did it just to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When it comes to being like a crazy kid, like tons of energy and stuff like that, do you feel like skateboarding really helped with that, as far as like teaching you like discipline and like really getting like you to calm down, really burning off the energy?
I could probably say my grandma definitely thought so. Yeah. I mean, there's probably so many times where she was like, dude, this kid needs to drain energy and do all that. But it definitely helps. I think skateboarding probably helps with like the number one thing is teaching you how to strive towards something. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like you try a trick and it's like, dude, some people like, I knew people it took like a couple of years to learn kickflips. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which it's like, it also depends on how much you're trying. Yeah. But if you're going at it every day, I mean, you skated, so it's like you try something for hours and hours and hours, and then you get that feeling, and you're like, oh,
you land it once, and you're just chasing.
Yeah, it's like, what's the next thing you can do? You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know. It was just kind of one of those things where it's just, you know what I mean? It definitely helped with the energy thing, and then it helped with like kind of teaching me like how to go about things in life. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of lessons from skateboarding.
No, for sure. Like there's tons of lessons. You know what I mean? Like there's so much that you can teach yourself, and either if you're going to give up or you're not.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
What about the I know like it was a huge phenomenon back at that time, like the Tony Hawk games when they came out. Yeah. Was that big for you? Were you not really into PlayStation or?
I would say probably when it came out, not so much, because N64 is when it like when it popped up. I was oddly playing, like I got an N64 for one of my Christmases, and I was playing like this Wave Runner game. It was like a Sea-Doos.
Wow.
Like you're like on like Sea-Doos.
Straight up Sea-Doos?
Yeah, okay. And I was playing that a lot, and then 1080. 1080 was a snowboard game.
1080?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, that game was sick.
Okay.
I played that more than anything. I don't know why.
A snowboarding game?
Yeah.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Because I feel like that was like your first, like living in Colorado, right?
Yeah,
that was like your first before skateboarding.
Exactly. It kind of was like, and those dudes in the complex, they snowboarded, so I guess I kind of knew it. But I think once I got into like middle school more, and when I was really skating, like I would stay up all night playing like Tony Hawk 3, and and then like on to Underground and like Underground 2, like that's when it was like, dude, I remember my stepdad coming in and being like,
bro,
what are you doing, dude? And I'm like, yeah, it's like 3. But it was cool too, because that's a weird thing is like he's younger than my mom, but like, dude, he would play video games with me all the time. Like,
that's tight. Shout out to stepdads.
Yeah, like he was like fully like, he'd be like, oh yeah, like he got me into like UFC, and that's why I started like doing that stuff when I was younger. And like, you know what I mean? It was just it was cool because he'd play Madden like
Yeah.
He was the first person I ever played an online game because he bought online like at that time, and we played Madden
Dude.
online. And
Oh,
like,
that's wild.
We like totally got our ass whooped, and he was like, "Yeah, we might not play this for a while." You know what I mean? Like, let's just play against each other.
Was it dial-up internet?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
those
know.
are tough. Remember those little free CDs that would come in the mail?
Yeah.
Those free AOL.
Yeah.
No?
The crazy thing is, I didn't have a computer until like so long in life, like until I was like in 8th grade.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, then
Like,
that makes sense.
yeah.
When you're in a computer lab.
Yeah. It was kind of weird. Like, I didn't really deal with a lot of technology besides like maybe video games.
Who was your go-to skater in Tony Hawk?
Reynolds.
Dude,
Come on.
boss.
Oh, Rally
Okay.
too. I love Jeff
yeah.
Rally. Like,
I feel like Rally was definitely
Yeah.
it for me.
Yeah.
Rally and oddly enough, Rune Glifberg. Even though I'm not really a vert guy,
Yeah.
I just the blue jersey with like the khaki cargos, it was it.
yeah, he might have been somebody I passed up a couple times for sure.
No, not into the
I'm a
vert.
creature of habit. You know what I mean? I do
Yeah.
the Reynolds and Rally were like the two that I just really went with. Like,
Dipping more into skateboarding. Who was like your go-to pros growing up? Was it still Raleigh or?
yeah, I mean, obviously, it's Andrew Reynolds is probably like a big inspiration.
Right.
I just liked his skating. I mean, This Is Skateboarding video from America was like huge for me. Like, that was just
Yeah,
what I watched. You know what I mean? Like Herman, like being so young.
Yeah.
Leo.
there were like kids in those videos.
Yeah.
dude.
You know what I mean? You got Tosh Townend, you know what I mean? Obviously Reynolds. I mean, even Aaron Susky was kind of cool, but like,
Yeah.
I probably fast forwarded it.
Oh,
into
that's
something
yeah.
like, you know, like
yeah.
I probably fast forwarded.
There was
through it, but-
definitely some fast forwarding on those parts.
Oh, 100%. But it's just so good. You know what I mean? John Miner
Yeah.
just knows how to make a video too, and it's like,
Absolutely.
it's just great.
What about, this is kind of jumping ahead here, but more so sticking with the video parts, do you feel like a lot of that has been lost over time with everything now being so digital and so like fast media with social media and pulling out your cell phone? Do you feel like those moments still exist watching like your skate tape with your homies and stuff like that?
Maybe? I don't know. I mean, YouTube really has kind of like made it to where skate parts come out way more, but it's also like, it's like people put out like just doing a weekend with the homies. Like you go to San Francisco, you put it out, you do, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that where like Spitfire will be like, oh yeah, like we did a skate park tour, and they'll put that out. And I mean, people still put out parts just as much, but it's like videos have kind of died out. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
in the full length aspect.
What
You know what
about, I mean, because you've been skating for years,
Yeah.
right? In your time of skateboarding, have you been a part of like, have you filmed for like an entire like skateboard project?
I mean, I've filmed for like small videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've also like, I mean, I've done stuff. I've been on the barracks multiple times, like with stuff with that. I've done like solo stuff with like my buddy Josh and like filmed with other, like, you know, my buddy Bubba. He does like a video called Sonder. I've filmed like a couple clips for them and stuff like that. But I mean, the major thing was just kind of like when I was a kid. Like, I mean, that was just like my major, I guess, anything. That was the biggest video I've ever been on. When I was in Baker.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
pretty sick.
I mean, it's 2 clips, but it's like still, it's like,
That's still huge though. Being in, I mean, it was a Baker 3, right?
yeah.
Dude, we're going to touch on that. As far as for like your first sponsor on a skateboard, talk to me about that. What was that? What was that moment like?
It was weird. The first sponsor I ever really got was it was World Industries, actually. Yeah, they sent me a box of 3 boards and like a bunch of random like wheels and stuff. But it was they found me at Norwalk Park, and I was
Really?
just kind of flying around on the mini ramp and the hips and everything.
Yeah.
And it just kind of worked out, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was cool. I never really thought of anything of it though. Like, wasn't like, oh, this is it. Like, I'm gonna make it. I was just so juiced on skating that like I never thought it was gonna be a career.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So opening that first box, was that like would you say that was like a milestone moment
Yeah,
for you in skateboarding?
it was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it just seeing brand new boards, and I was like, oh shit. But obviously, like, I fucking ruined them right away. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I beat the shit out of them. Like,
Yeah.
You know, and like,
I think when I first started skating, I was like that, where I was like, I didn't want to damage the boards. And then you kind of feel like now that you get older and when you start skating more, you're like, okay, now I really want to fucking go in on the boards.
yeah, I mean, it's weird. I guess like I never had that feeling.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, even when, like, my dad bought me stuff, I would be like, all right, fuck it. Like,
You're going in.
yeah. Like, it's part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
What about 'cause it sounds like you were with World Industry, but any shoe sponsors? Any like talk to me about like how did like that progress, right? From your first sponsor to, you know, now you're an adult and you have like this whole career of skateboarding. Let's talk about the sponsors in between. So World Industry sent you a box.
yeah.
What
Which
comes
I wouldn't
next?
even say that, like, it was a sponsorship.
Right. Well,
You know what
I
I
get
mean?
what
Like,
you mean, right? It's not like you were on the team.
It happened.
But
you
they
know what I mean?
reached out, they sent you a box.
Yeah.
After that box, what did like you stepping up to?
I
What comes
got
next?
shoes from America at the same time I was getting shit from Baker. And that was because at the time I was staying with my buddy Kevin in the high desert, and we knew his little brother,
Right.
Johnny. And that was Brian Herman's little brother, Johnny Herman.
Okay.
And it just kind of happened to be like in that vicinity of like seeing him, and like we always were filming, and he just kind of was, I don't know, he was down for it. So he was giving, I think he was giving me stuff of his because he's kind of got a small foot. I think he's he was like a size 8 at that time, and that's what I was. So it was like he was like, here.
Well,
yeah,
how old are you at this time?
Probably like 14.
Okay, so a couple years into skateboarding.
Yeah.
Would you say you progressed pretty fast on a skateboard? Because we talked about some people like struggled for years, like
Yeah.
with a kickflip.
I mean, yeah, I would say it was pretty decent. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Okay.
It was pretty fast. And I feel like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know what I mean. Like if I was at the level to get sponsored at that time, I mean, I was doing decent stuff, but I wasn't like, you know what I mean. I see kids now, and I'm like, yeah, good luck to me. You know what I mean. If I was in this day and age, you know what I mean. Like
Absolutely. And you skated all through, even through high school.
no,
No, so you stopped.
I stopped all high school.
Okay, and it's funny because in my mind I'm thinking, you know, most people have that moment, right, where
Yeah.
like you skate and then it's like you stop because something else in life comes up. What was that for you?
I mean, for that time, I think you're just being a kid. You know what I mean? You're being a high schooler that's stupid, and you just kind of, I don't know. I just dropped it. Like it was weird. Like I was going to the skate park all the time, and like it was cool, but I found something else. I found like partying. Like
Okay.
partying was just so much more fun to me than like doing that. Even though I could be doing it on the side. You know what I mean? But it could have been the group that I hung out with too. Like the group that I hung out with, like they were really much of like doing anything besides
Okay. So it's hanging out,
hanging out and
party. What kind of party are we talking? Like, because I know you're like a pro shuffler, right?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I've definitely shuffled in some stuff.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it was mostly
you've shuffled in some stuff, like
well, I
some
mean,
stuff is in the music
shuffled,
video. Or?
Yeah, I shuffled for LMFAO
Really?
and Party Rock. Yeah, me and a
Really?
group of homies. Yeah,
Wow.
and I had to be in a whole get up, and we did all that. And
Wait, what do you
then,
mean you had to be in a whole getup?
Like Party Rock get up. Like I had black pants with blue sparkly Party Rock all over it with a white
Now,
Party Rock shirt.
You own that stuff, or
No.
Oh,
They
okay.
gave it to us to wear.
wait, back up. How did we get into a music video, shuffling?
Well, I mean, for that time, it was like, you know what I mean? That's when everybody was going to like clubs and, you know what I mean? Rave music was like really big, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And I would go to, I think it was on Santa Monica. It was called Dance Groove Thursdays. And there was a heist on Friday. It was called the Heist. And I would go to that all the time, like pretty much every week. I mean, obviously it shows that like I was doing that more than anything.
Okay.
Because it was Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And there was this just group of dudes that like I met, you know what I mean? It was called SBN, and they called it Sick Beyond Nature. And it was just kind of like a dance shuffle crew. And I got involved with that, and then like as lame as that sounds, but I got involved with that,
sick.
and we would just kind of meet up and hang out. And then they got approached by, I guess it's Universal that does their stuff, and yeah, I mean I'm just part of the homies, so I dragged along, and I just happened to be.
Did you wear a fake chain
No,
for the video?
no, it was just literally I was in t-shirt, very skin tight pants, and slip-ons.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Can you
really
see?
tight.
Are you able to see yourself in the music video?
Slightly, yeah.
Really?
It's just as much as the Justin Bieber video, yeah.
Wait, you were in? Oh, you were. I know about the Justin Bieber video.
Yeah.
You were in a Justin. How do you end up in 2 music videos? So we got so we know this one. How do you end up in a Justin Bieber music video?
So my buddy's buddy hit him up and was like, hey, like, you run a skate shop. I know you have skaters that skate for you. They're doing this like audition thing for people to be in Justin's video. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and he was like, hey man, like, I know you need money right now. Like you and the guys should head out to this. And I was like, all right, for sure. And he like walked through this like weird audition thing where like, bro, there's like people like full get-ups where like, you can just totally tell that they don't skate, but they're like, oh, I'm trying to be in the video. You know? And we did that whole thing, and then I got picked for it, and then they were like, all right, like, cool, like, the music's gonna be going on, this is what the scene is gonna be, and like there was a half pipe, and they were like, pretty much just skate until the director says stop. So like as soon as they hit the music, everybody would like drop in. Like it was like a free for all. Like everybody was like hungry, dude.
Right,
like,
to be on cam.
Yeah. Like
so
people,
wait, can you see yourself in this music video?
Yeah. Yeah.
What
like,
do you do? Are you
if you know me,
there?
you can
skating or
no. I'm doing a boneless on the half pipe. So it's like I do a boneless, and then as I'm coming down, the camera's like right in front of me, so you can like see like my frontal.
Your frontal?
Yeah, my front of like my body and my face and everything like
Okay,
that. Yeah, you get what I mean.
Well, yeah, we'll pause on the frontal, but
but yeah, I mean, it was just super random. I just happened to be in it.
Yeah.
I definitely did a lot cooler tricks, I would say, because like there was one part of it where I was doing a boneless and they had a background where it was like a wall that was all tagged up, and I was bonelessing onto it and like wall riding down and pulling back into the half pipe.
Damn.
And I did that, and the guy got it, but maybe it was like too close or something.
Yeah.
Or they just didn't use it and they thought that was cooler, and they used that. But yeah, I mean,
did you get paid for the 2 videos?
oh,
or?
terribly, yes.
You got paid.
Oh yeah, it was the worst thing, dude. We were there for like 9.5 hours.
Yeah.
And they got pizza for us, which they're like, oh, I want to get pizza for people. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay.
They were cutting slices in half.
No,
So
not the half slices.
It was a sliver of Domino's pizza.
It sounds like corporate America.
Yeah, oh yeah. And they gave us that, and then I got paid like $100 for like 9 hours, and I was like,
we can't pay you fairly, but we can have a pizza party.
yeah, it was terrible.
Damn, not the Justin Bieber camp with the half slices. Shout out Justin.
It was like $10 an hour, pretty much.
Wait, did
like,
you meet the Biebs?
I did.
What's he like?
He was mellow. He kind of like the fucked up part about it. He like made fun of this deaf kid that was there.
Wow. Okay, it's another exclusive.
Yeah.
So Dylan repeats first grade, and Justin Bieber bullies a deaf kid.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's this skater. I don't know if you've ever seen that Mountain Dew video. It's called "We Are Blood."
No.
There's like this guy. He's deaf and he rips. He skates. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
yeah.
like, you know how they can you know what I mean? They can kind of like speak words, but they're like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like has that like you can tell that they're trying.
Yeah.
And he was talking to him and like dabbed him up, and like Justin dabbed him up, which I was like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe he's not so bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then as soon as that dude skated away, like he kind of was like,
No,
making
not with
jokes
the
at like
impressions.
with the homie,
Oh,
like, and I was
man.
like, ooh, all right,
Yeah.
like
Did you see him skate? What do you think of Justin Bieber skating?
it's
You can say
beginner.
it. It's very beginner.
Yeah,
Oh, you can
he's
kick
very
him.
stiff, but I mean, more power to
Pause,
him.
but
You know what I mean? Like,
No,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's cool that he's trying to skate, but it's just
He
like,
still does it.
yeah, I mean, it's not the prettiest thing.
It's not the prettiest thing.
No.
Before we venture too far off from skateboarding, I wanted to circle back because obviously you have so much to talk about with skateboarding. Talk to me about your worst slam.
Oh,
We all have a.
I mean, I guess there's two. There's a slam where I broke my leg, and then there's the slam that's in the beginning of one of my parts where I tried this double kink in South Pasadena, and I fucking slipped. Like I rolled over on the thing, and my legs hit the rail, and I like flip over and like fully body slammed like the last 4 stairs.
Total pain angel.
Oh, dude, it hurt so bad. I thought I broke my wrist. Like my wrist was so stiff that I was like, oh shit, like I broke it for sure. But
I think I recently seen this part. Didn't you send it to me recently? Within the last couple
it's
months?
on YouTube.
I think that's the one you sent me.
Yeah, I'm like in like I think it's I don't remember what type of t-shirt, but like you could tell like I fully like board rolled over like because I was mostly on my heels, so it rolled over the left, like the right side, and I went to the left, and like it hurt so bad. But I've never like I loved to do kink rails and tried them, but like I've never succeeded. I've stacked them, I've ribbed them, I've flew over them like that, and then
I could never.
Yeah, but that one, and then like when I broke my leg, we were on a San Diego.
What's that like? I've never broken a bone. thank goodness. But
honestly,
what's
it
that
wasn't.
like?
It wasn't too crazy. Like I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. I was a lot more calm than I thought I would be.
Okay, for someone who just broke his leg. Pretty
Exactly.
chill?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were in San Diego. First, like we all bought like a 3-day thing for like, like the hotel and everything, and we were just like, oh, we're filming a video, so it's like
Right.
we're gonna make this
What
happen.
are you filming for at this point?
This was when I was on pharmacy at the time. So we were
Okay.
filming for a pharmacy video.
Okay.
So it was like we were all super amped because it was like, it's still new. It was very new. And pharmacy is a shop, if you don't know, by the way.
Okay.
Like first time we get there, I've skated this rail multiple times. It's like it's near the border. It's like some 12 rail. And, I warm up, I do 50, I did Smith. I'm like, I want to go for kick with front board shove. And I'm like, okay, like that's where I'm going to get at.
Proper.
And it's kind of weird because you have to like drop in on a board, down some stairs, go through the flat, and then like hit the rail.
Right.
But it's famous. Like
the
everybody
run-up.
hits this, like
Yeah,
Chris Cole, like all the San Diego dudes. And I'm like, oh, at the time front feebles were super comfortable. So I'm like, I'll do front feebles. And I do a couple, and I slipped out on one. I'm like, all right, cool. But the weird thing about this rail is where you land at the rail, right in front of it is a fucking huge crack, like just going straight. So it's
Damn.
like, I didn't even think about it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I rolled over it with all the other tricks, so who gives a shit? You know what I mean? And that third front feeble, I get in, I land, and my back wheel goes in the crack, and my board goes this way. So I do the splits, and I sit back on my right leg, and I automatically knew that like
That'll do it.
that it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. And I like looked at my leg, and it was kind of tweaked to the side, and I was like, I broke my leg. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, I broke my leg. Like, you know what I mean? And my homie came up, and he was like, oh shit, like.
Are we talking like between thigh and knee broke, or are we talking between knee and ankle?
So
broke?
it's my fibula. It was like
No idea what a fibula is.
Fibula is a small bone in your leg. So it's tibia and fibula.
Thanks for that.
And,
Thanks for the info.
And I broke that one, which is the small bone, but it's probably like 4 inches above my ankle.
The fact that you knew it was broken, though, we talking like gruesome, poked out of the skin, like, or just
more so my foot was just like this.
Oh,
Like it was like like
it's just the wrong direction.
you know when like you sit up and your feet are like this. Well, my like foot was like this, even though my legs are straight. So I was like, okay, like it got cocked that way. Like you know what I mean, like I already obviously know something's wrong because my other foot's like this, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I fully spent the whole weekend still with a broken leg, like with all the homies, so they can not ruin their trip.
Not ruined. Damn, that's dedication.
My friend at the time, Caesar, like beer ran.
Yeah.
Like he like did a beer run, but for crutches from CVS for me because
No way. Really?
yeah, because I had a crutch around. They couldn't carry
that's
me,
true.
so he went and stole crutches because we couldn't afford them from a CVS and like
Shout out CVS, loss prevention,
oh yeah,
for not catching the homie Caesar.
yeah, dude, it was the funniest thing, and I was still like, I climbed like 4 fences still that weekend, like,
Dude, you're an animal.
yeah, it was stupid. But
Talk to me about because obviously you have clips in Baker 3. What's
Well,
that
two,
like? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you have one clip. That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah.
How does one end up with 2 clips in Baker 3? Which, by the way, if you don't know, Baker 3 is like one of the most iconic skate videos ever.
yeah, it was just being around the right people at that time. That was around the time that I was.
Did you ride for Baker?
Yeah, that's when I was getting stuff at the time.
Okay.
So it was kind of like I was going with some of those dudes, but like I never got to like be with the big dogs like all the time. Like you know what I mean, like Reynolds and all them. Like they're, you know what I mean. Like you see the old videos, like Knox and all those dudes are around them.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I don't know, they would deal with it then, and then like you know what I mean. Like I would skate with the Otis and Rami Issa and all that, and like that was around that time with, you know what I mean. Like we were all together, and like Reynolds and Herman and Greco and all those dudes are all by themselves. You know what I mean? Like, because they probably don't want kids around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I mean, especially as they get older.
That day I was just around the right people. Like they knew that they were going to Silmar, and we went to Silmar, and
What clips did you get for the ended up in the part? Do
it's
you remember?
kickflip and switch 180 on the Silmar 11.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's fire. So never actually skated for Baker though.
I never was like on the team to where like my name was like.
Talk to me about
like,
teams that you were actually on, because we know you got boxes from Old Industry.
I mean,
Got
it's
boxes
a lot of
from-
it's you get boxes from like everybody. Like I would say the closest thing to me ever being on like something like fully
Yeah.
was when I was getting stuff from Zero.
Damn.
But Jamie Thomas is so like particular about stuff.
Yeah.
That like he chose. It was literally me, Chris Weimer, and Frankie Villani.
Yeah.
Which Frankie's awesome. I love Frankie.
Love Frankie.
That's like my
Did
homie.
he just put out a shoe, right?
Yeah, for New Balance.
Yeah, New Balance.
Yeah,
Shout out.
I have it in
Shout
my
out Frankie.
closet.
Do you really?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
that's
Frankie,
tight.
dude. I gotta support him.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it was like he pretty much is like he's like he knows, you know what I mean? He's one of the fucking greatest skateboarders ever.
Yeah.
But he was like, I have you, Chris Weimer, Frankie. You skate like Chris. Frankie's gonna be our next person that we do for the team. So like they did no cash values. And I was planning on having one because I thought, you know what I mean? They never told me anything.
Yeah.
And Frankie got one. And then right after that, he was like, well, you skate a lot like Chris. Chris is going to be on the team. And he was like, we don't have a place for you.
No.
Yeah.
This is Jamie Thomas.
Oh, yeah, he's very blunt.
Oh, dude.
But that's cool. I like that. I'd rather you be straight up and be like, yeah, we don't have a place for you.
That broke my heart, though.
Than me just, oh, yeah, it sucks. I mean, but like, I'd rather you tell me that you don't have a spot for me than like just pursuing to get on a team that like I'm never going to get on.
No, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. There was at no point in time was there like an actual like you're on the team, like you're am for this.
A lot of it was just kind of flow.
Okay.
The longest team I've ever was on was like Vans, and that was like 8 years.
I mean, and not to take away because even being flow for a company is wild. But when it comes to like now that, I mean, even up till now, right? You still kind of push around and stuff like that. Do you feel like not pursuing like going pro or going am or like, do you feel like that was something that you like looking back, is that something you wish you would have done? Are you content with your past skate career?
I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty content with like what I did.
Yeah.
I learned very, I don't know, I would say when I was 20, I think I was like 25 or something like that. Yeah. Maybe 24. I kind of realized that like, you know what I mean? Even though I'm getting Vans and I'm on like Vans and I went on a couple of trips, like I'm not getting money.
Shout
you know what I mean?
Vans.
Like I got enough, like I got like 8 shoes a month to where like I could sell some or like trade some or like I always gave my homie shoes too.
Right.
But it wasn't like I had rent to pay, you know, I lived on my own and all that. So it's like, I learned very fast that like it wasn't like I could do both.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to get on Black Label because I don't know, I just really like John Lucero.
Yeah.
And I filmed a whole part when I was working like my construction job, and like he was really impressed because he was like, "You honestly film more than people I have on the team." Like,
yeah.
But he's like, "I don't have a spot for you," and I was like, "Okay, like all good." You know what I mean? Like, skateboarding's rough,
it's
man.
Tough. It's
like,
cutthroat.
Yeah. Like they want people that are going to benefit them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Tying in skateboarding to obviously fingerboarding, right? Now that we slowly make the transition, do you feel when it comes to fingerboarding that you can fully appreciate fingerboarding if skateboarding wasn't a big part of like your past? Like, do you feel like skateboarding has to be something that you were a part of or experienced to fully appreciate fingerboarding?
Not really.
No.
I mean, you don't really have to be a part of anything to appreciate anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's so many people that appreciate skateboarding that don't even do it or know anything about it. They're just like, oh shit, that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, because we all start somewhere. The reason I ask is it seems like more and more there's this, like this gatekeeping sense of like skateboarding versus fingerboarding. And do you at all, like, have you ever received any weird looks or like backlash or anything like that for being like, because obviously if we're talking credentials, you have a stacked list of skateboarding credentials.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fingerboarding, sometimes people look at that as like less than skateboarding. Like, do you have any insight on that? Have you ever received any backlash? Or, I mean, do you personally think that it's weird if someone fingerboards but just don't skateboard?
No, not really. Because it's like, I mean, why would you judge somebody for doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
The cool thing about it is anybody can pick up a fingerboard, like a kid, you know, a girl, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just fun. You know what I mean? Like, you can just kind of like fuck around. And like, the cool thing with having a skateboard background is it helps with tricks. Right. You know what you're doing. You have a vision. Or even if you watch skateboarding, you could see it and you can do it. Some of the people that don't skate, you can tell in their fingerboarding because it's different. You know what I mean?
trying to like replicate skateboarding.
Compared to there's so many people in fingerboarding that are skaters, you know what I mean? Like that just do skate related stuff. Right. You know what I mean? Like
when it comes to skateboarding, or I should say fingerboarding replicating skateboarding, are you more, I guess, like the style that you enjoy fingerboarding and that you enjoy watching, are you more like are you more into like the crazy, unrealistic, like Tony Hawk style fingerboard tricks? Or are you more like, just give me like a solid, like kickflip, you know, feeble, or, you know what I mean? Like, what, you like those flashy tricks, or are you more standard tricks?
I'm a little bit straightforward of like, just a good style. It could be simple. You know what I mean? Like, just give me some, you know, kick with nose grinds, give me some kick with back tails, even like, people that could use like regular back tails and all that, like without flipping, because honestly, that's sometimes harder than flipping into it.
Oh yeah, make it make sense. It's like a kickflip back tail is way easier than the back tail.
Yeah, like I like that a lot. You know what I mean? Because it's the realism of it, keeping it kind of like non-crazy. I mean, if you want to do the crazy shit, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's not something I enjoy watching. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But like more power to you, like that you can do
it.
Switch tray, back tail, switch tray, back to back tail. It's like that takes a lot of effort and a lot of talent. But
for those people who've maybe are not super familiar with like the term style when it comes to skateboarding and fingerboarding, more specifically fingerboarding, what is style to you? Like when you say like have a good style, or when this person's really good, maybe they can, I mean, because we all know people that can land mad tricks but have no style.
Yeah.
What is style to you?
It's just kind of like, it's almost like looking loose on the fingerboard. You know what I mean? Like you're not like, it's not trying to be forced where you're like, you could feel the pressure of the fingers. Like, you know what I mean? Because some people like do some shit and you're like, you can see like their knuckles are like, you know, they're tensing, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, it just looks crazy. I mean, I don't really know how I fingerboard. I don't know if I look like the way that I'd want, but I mean, there's so many people that just kind of like have that loose style, and I think that like that's what looks best. Like it's just kind of like being more loose on it, and like less tense to where you're like, you know what I mean? You're really trying to do
you
this.
You can tell, and they're fighting for their lives. What was your first experience with fingerboarding? Like, was it tech decks, or when did that kind of come into the picture for you?
I think tech decks have always been around. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, fucking everybody has gone to Target at least one time in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And just doing that and going down the toy aisle, you know what I mean? Like, was kind of like, I don't know. I think the first time I ever really experienced like tech decks was I was really into Bionicles as a kid.
Okay.
If you remember what Bionicles
Lego robots?
It's a Lego, like they almost look like, like these creature things, but they were super cool. And I built those a lot for some reason. And then I think, they were just there, and that's when I was kind of starting to skate. And I always had them, but I never like did anything with them. I always bought stuff that like, I was like, oh, like I skated this, or like, I saw it at the skate shop. You know what I mean? I wanted it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I couldn't get it though. You know what I mean?
Early on, did it occur to you that that's what they were for, to like replicate skateboard and do tricks with your fingers? Or were they just, was it kind of like my story where it's like, they just look cool and you can push around on them?
I did not think about that at all.
Right.
I mean, I think probably at home, I was doing the whole like grab it and like messing around, but like
around some books.
I wasn't like how people were, they just knew. They were like, I'm going to try tricks. Yeah. I just wasn't like that. I was outside so much that I was rarely home. I would go to school and like my parents wouldn't see me till like 10 o'clock. Damn. Because I would just go from school to the skate park.
Right.
Or I would go home real quick, but my mom, she was a bartender, so I mean, she probably hate for me to say it, but it's like she was asleep when I would be home, because like she got home so late. She'd get home at like 3. Yeah. So she would sleep a lot of the day. Yeah. I mean, obviously she probably did stuff when I was gone.
Yeah.
But like,
well, shout out hardworking moms first off.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I would just kind of go, okay, cool. Like later, and I would skate over to the skate park and just like be there until my legs just hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, are we talking, because I know we talked about skateboarding, right? Up until now pretty much, but is your skateboarding and your fingerboarding like overlapping at this point? Or did the fingerboarding come after your skateboarding, or?
100% after.
After.
I would say like I said, like it's like about 5 years ago or so is when I like kind of like really realized That's when I like the first time I ever experienced like a wood fingerboard, and it happened to be broken knuckle.
Really?
It's a P-rep board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out
I mean,
P-rep.
that was like, I think this is when like early on of what I kind of even knew what Amazon was, and it was like, you go on Amazon, and it was
Well,
like,
yeah, a couple years ago, Amazon was like, I don't think it's definitely not what it is today, where it's like, oh yeah, just go to Amazon.
yeah.
So it's huge.
It was. I think it was still kind of like it was bigger, but it wasn't like everything you get is on Amazon. You know what I mean? Like I was even surprised. Like my buddy Josh, I think you've met him. He's like my filmer homie.
Yeah.
He showed me it. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, I got one of these." Like, and I was like, "The hell is that?" You know what I mean? And yeah, I bought one. It was like a purple one on there, and I put stickers all over it, and like kind of just did my thing. And then I didn't even know what like there was another world until I went to a Sorry event, and I knew one of Nash's buddies, Matt. You know, because my buddy Gilbert is his cousin.
Right.
And I hung out with him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like I've seen you on Matt's Instagram. Like, come here."
Right.
And I helped him out and put up a banner, and he let me into the event, and like we kind of just became friends from there. And that's how I knew. I found out about like professional trucks and stuff, and I was like, $65.
Yeah, $65.
You crazy?
Yeah. What else does it come with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are we buying here? No, absolutely. So when you talk about experiencing like fingerboarding and the events, because at that time, Sorry's huge too, right?
Yeah.
Like Sorry's massive. You know, I mean, not to take away from Nash now, because Sorry's still killing it. But is that like your first? I mean, because you obviously rode for Sorry. I know because we rode for Sorry at the same time. We didn't even know each other. But you know, when it comes to Sorry, was that like your first fingerboard sponsor, or was like what was that like? Talk to me about your experience with Sorry.
Yeah, that was like the first time I've ever experienced anything like that. You know what I mean? Like it was, I would say more of like sorry. Dude, fucking my throat just got so dry.
It's all right. Don't be nervous.
All right.
All right. It gets super weird. It's all right. Take a little water break.
Right.
Shout out Nash. Shout out Sorry. Shout out Dylon. Shout out Water.
There you go. Yeah. So
Got to move the water. No free placement.
all right.
Great value. Slide into my DMs.
No Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I pretty much just found out about that whole scene just because of him, and he luckily kind of, I would say, lived like closer, but he was in Long Beach, and I was in Downey at the time.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. He just kind of became a homie and like kind of took me under his wing a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I think the sponsorship came after that, but it was more like, I don't know. It was just kind of like I was around. You know what I mean?
You were.
I don't think I was sponsored because of like I was good at fingerboarding.
Oh, well, don't take away from yourself like that.
No, but I don't know. I just that's how I felt.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like when you're really good friends with somebody and you're around, and then it's like, hey, you're on the team, but it's not like you didn't. There was no reason why you're on the team because of like fingerboarding. But
well, I mean, is that how you viewed your fingerboarding at the time? I mean, because now, like, I'm sure you know, but it's like you're gnarly on a fingerboard.
thank you.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
So, are you saying that you just weren't gnarly then?
No, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like, I was decent, but it wasn't good. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why it felt like I was like on the team to be as a friend.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And no bad blood with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I love fucking Nash, and you know what I mean? Like, Sorry's cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's just at that time, that's what I felt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely. How long were you a part of Sorry?
I don't know.
It was
I would
kind of
say
like a loose sponsorship.
Yeah, I would say probably like, I don't know, over like a year or so or something like that. But I've been involved. Like I've helped out with every event. Like, you know what I mean? I went to every event and I helped them set up, and, you know, I judged the contest or whatever it was, or like I would talk on the mic. And I mean, I was there for Nash because I liked fingerboarding and I fucked with Sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I ever really tried to be on a team. It wasn't like, oh, I want to get sponsored. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, you know.
Absolutely. Did you ever have a board with Sorry?
No.
Like a Blackledge board?
No.
Damn. Okay.
That's there was promises.
Okay.
No execution.
Okay.
But it is what it is. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, Absolutely. I think, yeah. I mean, I definitely think that now, I think it worked out, which obviously we'll get to your current sponsors. But okay, so fast forward. So you're on Sorry, and you also did a full video with Sorry, right?
Yeah.
What was that like? What's filming? I mean, because not to jump ahead, but obviously right now we're filming for the Awful stuff. So
Exactly.
talk to me about the difference though, like being a team writer, filming for a part versus now we'll kind of touch more on it later, but now you're kind of like the boss man, head honcho of the video. So what was it like filming for your Sorry part?
It was weird. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things where I guess like there wasn't very many people that filmed in a certain way then, like it is now. Like everybody has like fingerboard filming now is crazy. Like there's so many people that make it look good.
Yeah. Well, so many styles.
Well, exactly. It was so different then to where like I was just propping up my phone and just kind of like making it so basic. And I didn't even know then that like I had to film horizontally, whatever like format that is, but I filmed them all vertically, and he had to like stretch them and like, or whatever, and make it fit that. So like they don't even really look good. You know what I mean? Okay. And I don't know. I mean, you've told me that you like the clips in there.
Yeah.
I personally thought that like, I don't know. I guess it's because it's now. You know what I mean? You look back on older stuff and you're like, Jesus. Like,
no, I one thing that stands out with your fingerboard even now, and I've told you this before, is that like you can tell that you skated because like that you've skated before, like you know what I mean? Because your trick selection is very realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's what stood out to me about your part for the Sorry thing. So obviously you're not on Sorry now.
Nope.
Obviously talking sponsorships and stuff like that is always kind of like a weird subject because so many people don't know what it is. So many people want it. They don't even know what it is. But when it comes to like leaving a team, right? What was that like? Kind of like your departure. Obviously there's no bad blood.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, was it a tough decision to kind of walk away from that? Or, I mean, do you just kind of, I mean, because right after you left, we're getting into Awful territory.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about the decision to, you know, obviously part with Sorry and then kind of do your own thing.
I think at the time it was, I don't know, I was ready for something new.
Okay.
You know, I think it was more so when I was like really getting into fingerboarding, and then like I found you know, Slush Cult was kind of like the events, and it was a lot of that was coming around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the first event that I went to for a Slush event was a Sorry event. Because I didn't even know about Slush Cult before that. No. Sorry.
Was that right after the pandemic?
I think so.
Yo, were we at the same event?
Maybe. Yeah.
I went to that too with Andy.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Is that when Brandon came? Trash Panda?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was,
dude,
I was there. Yeah. That was the first time I ever met him.
And we legit never crossed paths, not once at that event.
You didn't try to hold my hand or anything.
Yeah, I was about to say, surprising because you are handsome. So, you know. But okay, so we were kind of moving on from Sorry. Obviously, Slush enters the picture with shout out Clay. Which, by the way, we just did his interview. So shout out Clay. Clay, he had nothing but good things to say about you.
For it.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, he didn't bring you up not once. But that's cool. That's cool. But as far as for leaving Sorry, right? Are you at this point looking for a new board sponsor, or are the wheels kind of turning now? Like I kind of want to do my own thing.
I kind of figured. I don't know. I've always liked to work on my hands, and like I was like, I feel like I can.
Sorry.
I feel like I could do this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was like, I'm more than like capable of doing that. Like my dad kind of taught me how to like do a lot of stuff when I was younger. Like he was a very like fix it yourself type of guy. So I was like, all right, like I think I can make this happen. It was just how I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know like where to find a mold. I didn't know where like to buy veneer. Like you know what I mean. And
but see, that's the intriguing part to me because, as you know, fingerboarding. The making of fingerboards and graphics and how to put them on and what materials to use, that's like, you know, we don't talk about that stuff, right? In the sense like there's so many people not willing to share that information because of how hard it was for them to get that information.
Well, it's also just foreign.
Right.
Like it's so you don't know about it, so it's so foreign
like best kept secrets.
You don't even know what to look up. Like people will look up like fingerboard sticker because they think it's like, you know what I mean? And it's like you're not going to find. You know
so talk to me, though, about that process for you. Because obviously, wanting to make a fingerboard is not rocket science, right? But the little nuances that go into it, the shaping it. So talk to me about that, because obviously there's trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that like for you?
There was tons of mess ups and all that. I mean, luckily Alex, my buddy Alex Aguirre from Mild, he walked me through a lot of stuff. Mild. Yeah, like because I've known Alex from skate days. Like I've known Alex since. We
actually got to get him on here for a pod.
That'd be sick.
Yeah,
Alex is super cool.
Shout out Alex, shout out Mild.
But he taught me a lot of like kind of like what to do and like how to do things and like what glue and everything. But yeah, I was doing everything like out of a closet in my house.
Really?
At first, like I was drilling, I was cutting them, like like
total DIY.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like Nikki was watching me do this whole process, but like, what the fuck are you doing? Like
I'm picturing you sanding
the craziest thing. You know what I mean?
In a closet, tube socks and nothing but chonies on. Just
you would wish.
Yeah. Well, maybe
you can.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Are you? Wait. Do you not just chill in your chonies at home? Like what do you do? You're fully clothed at home?
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like
it's either like I wear a sweater most of the time, unless it's summertime. Like I'll be in like my boxers and a hoodie for like winter. Wait.
I'd prefer that you just told me you were in your boxers. Are the boxers and a hoodie?
Yeah, man, it gets cold, dude. I like to feel comfortable. You never would just want to throw your hood on and fucking hit the cinches and just be in your own world.
I'm more of like a just chonies guy. You've seen the chest hair on FaceTime.
Oh yeah.
You've seen the Batman logo.
You sweat so much more than I do, though.
Well, yeah, come on. I'm slightly overweight. Well, okay, I'm a lot overweight, but you know what I mean.
You know what I mean? Like,
all right, back on topic. Okay, so you're making fingerboards in your closet, all right? Leave my weight out of this. You're making fingerboards in your closet. Obviously, when it comes to the first boards for Awful, what did that look like? So now you're sitting here, you have the boards in front of you. Mm-hmm. What does it look like now? Do you already have a name?
I actually came up with a name before I even did the company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to do it.
Okay.
And I was just kind of like, all right, like, what can be ironic? You know what I mean? Like,
okay. Well, let's pause on the boards because we got to ask about the name.
Yeah.
And like you said, ironic. And when I asked last night, hey, like, what are questions for Father Awful, aka you?
Yeah.
There was so many people that were like, why Awful? Why Awful? Why Awful? So Dylon Blackledge, yes, that's his real last name. Why Awful?
I just thought it would be funny. You know what I mean? Like it was more so like, I don't know, like why Baker? Why any of this? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of what you make it. Like, you know, I don't know. I was like, all right, like when I hear somebody come up to me and be like, oh, like what board do you have? You know, it's like, oh, like Catfish. It's stacked. Like, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's sick. But I'm like, what if somebody's like, oh, it's an Awful? Like, you know what I mean? And they're like, what? Yeah. And you're like, no, it's an Awful board. Like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of how you do like this is an Awful board. It's not really Awful.
It's not really
like,
Awful.
Yeah. It's like that where it's like, it's funny. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I wanted. It's not supposed to be serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say that you lean into it? I mean, because obviously you have people that are super hilarious. Yeah. So like, these boards are awful. Yeah. I mean, like, do you lean into it? Like, does it bother you at all that it's like, not at all?
No, I mean, from day one, I've put my thing as the worst company. You know what I mean? Like,
that is true.
I'm leaning into it to myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm somebody that you can just kind of like throw jokes at or whatever, and it's just funny.
Yeah.
So
for the record, the boards aren't awful.
No.
You definitely go buy one. They're not awful. Shameless plug. You should go buy one. I mean, maybe my pro
They're not
model,
as shitty as you think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You can go buy my pro model right now. It's just, whatever. But
he's plugging.
Just plugging super hard.
Yeah.
We're trying to get some boards sold for Rendezvous, dog.
I know.
Okay. We have the name. You have the boards. Mm-hmm. What month are we in? Because was this like 2 years ago? Like a year and a half ago?
Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
I think it's coming up on 2 years.
Talk to me about the inception of like, okay, this is it. These are the boards. Because you did stickers, right? When you, I don't want to put you on blast, but you did stickers before grad. I mean, let's talk about that.
No, and I did. I did a batch of boards, and I gave one to Clayton, and I was like, hey, just let me know what it is. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know what I mean? And obviously, Clayton's the nicest dude ever. You know what I mean?
He won't tell you that they suck.
Cool. Like, you know,
he's a sweetheart.
I'm like, all right, well, thank you. So I give it to like Scott and Rogan, and Rogan's like, I wrote it. Here's what's wrong with it. And I was like, thank you.
Shout out Rogan.
This is what I need. And Scott said the same thing. And Scott was a big help. You know what I mean? Like, and they told me, and I was like, okay. And obviously at that time, it was mostly what I could change the error of. It was sanding.
Okay.
Because I only had one mold, and I didn't have the money to buy a new mold. So it was like, if they were like, "Oh, you gotta,"
Is Clayton using his vibrator back there? Like, what the? Jeez.
I can't change, like, if they were like, change the degree of this to make it like steeper or whatever. I couldn't do that. It was like I had what I had, and so I kind of got through with that. I learned how to do it a little bit better, which it still wasn't great. And Clayton was like, "I'll bring some boards in the shop, man." Like, and I was like, "He's like, I think these are cool." And I was like, "Really? Yeah. All right, sick."
Yeah.
So I was thinking of ways to do it, and I didn't really know the like whole painting thing at that aspect. Like some people paint like the boards, like wood and all that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just like hit up my homie Danny. He does stickers, and I was like, "Let me get some stickers, dude." And I like sized them up to like, like he had a tech deck, and he was like printing them out and like sizing them up, and I just bought sheets. And I put stickers on, clear coated over them, and they actually sold.
They worked. Yeah.
They actually sold, and it
Was that drop in Slush?
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't even have a website.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I guess that would be technically the first drop. And there's some people that still have those boards.
Damn.
They send me photos of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to keep that. Or if not, give it back to me, and I'll.
I definitely have a blank board. I don't have a sticker board.
No. You were a little bit after. You were when I got the new shit. I got the new mold, and that's when I was like, "Hey, if you want to try it, for sure. Like here, you know what I mean?" Like,
So now I kind of come into the picture, right? Because even though we kind of grew up in like the same cities, and we were like almost on the same team. I mean, not almost, but like we were
definitely on it. Yeah.
Definitely on Sorry together. Now I kind of come into the picture, and we finally meet.
Yeah.
It was glorious, at least for me.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I would see you at the events, the Sorry events, just staring at me from across the way. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you saw that?
Don't lie, dude.
You saw that? Okay. So I come into the picture. This is still early Awful, right?
Yeah. Super.
And then okay, so now we're obviously we have a name. Mm-hmm. We have boards. We no longer have stickers. Now we're actually getting graphics going. At this point, what is your
super side note, but sorry to interrupt you. The name came from me pretty much Googling different words for terrible. And it came up with a laundry list of words.
Yeah.
And it was like, a bunch of these. Like,
that's crazy.
Like there was like demise and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know. That sounds like too much like devise. And I was like, I'm not going to do Stefan dirty like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like, it was like almost the bottom one. And it was like awful. And I was like, that's fucking it. You know
that's
what I mean?
Crazy.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Eventually when I leave the company and start my own board company, I'm going to go with atrocious.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And just totally just rip all the awful stuff. So, okay.
Just put not awful.
Yeah, not out. These boards are decent. Call it decent fingerboards. All right. So now we're at the point where it's like you're launching the company, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was and maybe some like a lot of companies deal with this, but more so with Awful. I think that there was some. I'm trying to word this right, but there was almost like this sentiment as almost like you just started, the company's blowing up. Maybe he didn't put in the work. You know what I mean? To put it lightly.
Yeah.
What do you say to that? Has that? I mean, obviously that's something that had come up before in passing, but what do you say to that? Like, what's your response to that?
I mean, I've blatantly never really heard it from anybody. Right. I've just heard it on the grapevine.
Right.
That, I mean, I don't know. It sucks. It sucks to hear, but it's like, I don't know. Why does time make somebody feel like they, like, you know what I mean, like they're accepted or appreciated or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why did somebody have to put in the time? Like, if I'm trying to do something that's like cool and it's like elevating it, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm elevating fingerboarding at all, but it's like, dude, like, we're just trying to make fingerboarding more to where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's more events, there's more, you know what I mean? And like, just fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the one thing is like, I don't know. Fingerboarding was very gatekeepy in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, luckily I had Alex, or like this maybe would have not been anything. Because even looking on YouTube, there wasn't much.
Yeah. There's still not much out there. You still
because people
have
hate
to
on
make connections.
You know what I mean? People hate on it.
Yeah.
And
do you feel like, as someone now who has the setup, knows what he's doing, Do you feel like you're kind of breaking that cycle a little bit? Do you have an issue with breaking that cycle?
No. Like I'll tell anybody.
Okay, so yes, you're breaking the cycle. No, you don't have an issue with it.
I mean, like, no, I don't have an issue. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'll tell anybody. You know what I mean?
Because
Like,
you already put a couple people on.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I tell, even when kids hit me up in my DM, like, oh, what kind of sandpaper do you use? I'm like, 220.
Yeah.
I don't, you know what I mean? The one question I get the most is the graphics, but I just tell people go on Alibaba. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay. Well, no free promotion, so
you know what I mean?
we're not going there. Not going to Alibaba.
Oh, I mean,
Blank that out. Okay. As far as for the, I mean, because obviously when it comes to the brand,
yeah.
it's obviously hugely inspired by skateboarding. And I think that's something that draws a lot of people to the brand, is that it feels like a skateboard brand, you know? Do you feel like that's intentional, or do you feel like that's just something that kind of comes with you being so close to skateboarding?
I tried. You know what I mean? I try to make it as much as something that I would want to, like, personally ride. You know what I mean? And that was the whole part of it. Like, doing your own thing is like doing what you want it to be anyways. You know what I mean? So I just made it as much as skateboarding as I could, based off of brands that I like and other outlets that, like, I fuck with. You know what I mean? So it was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's pretty skate-ish, and I've heard that people think it's like, you know what I mean, like a skate company, but other people may not. You know, might think it's corny or whatever, and it's like, that's your opinion. That's how you go about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Clearly, Awful's doing something right because of, obviously, you know, all the hype behind the brand. Everyone's supporting the brand, which is great. A lot of people, when they start their companies, can't figure out what they're doing wrong. Would you speak on anything that you felt like maybe you were doing wrong for a minute when it comes to the brand, whether it's boards, whether it's sales or promotion, that you've since corrected, and you can kind of give some insight onto smaller brands?
I'm still very bad at social media and posting.
Okay.
From what I've heard, especially like Andre from Panic, he's like, dude, social media like helps me all the time.
Yeah.
And
I think he did 1 million views on drilling holes in the fingerboard.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Shout out Andre.
He has 1 million views on one of his videos.
Yeah.
Which is sick. You know what I mean? Like, but he always is like, hey, you should post more like content. And I should. It's just I'm not that. I don't know. I'm not very good at it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if you are good at it, and you know what I mean, that will help you. Like, I would say that would be a main thing to help your brand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could do posts, even if you're bothering people. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, just post. I post a lot on my story. You know what I mean? Which is probably like, I mean, that's just kind of where I post. But like, if I also don't want to like overkill sometimes with just board like photos. So it's like, if you know how to kind of do different things and like look at other companies, do it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Let's talk about your board graphics, because obviously talking about being heavily skateboarding inspired, you definitely get a feel that you have a type when it comes to graphics.
Yeah.
Are those graphics all like hand drawn? Are those only like made by you, or what are the graphics like? How do the graphics come to be?
A lot of them are just kind of just screen grabs from movies and just stuff that I like. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's like I didn't make up Frank from Donnie Darko. You know what I mean? Like, I took that from something and used it. But that's like me liking that genre of movie. So it's like I use that. Then it's like, you know, the horror stuff, or, you know, the Angelina Jolie graphic, the Anarchy graphic. We've talked about that. And I got that from a movie. You know what I mean? I did a screen grab from her from a movie, and then added an Anarchy symbol. I put, you know what I mean, threshold on her, and then inverted her, expanded them, threw another couple logos on it, and did that. The only one that like has kind of been like drawn, but like even my girlfriend drew it, was your graphic. You know what I mean? Like the thick boy. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, sick.
Like, Nikki drew that.
Shout out Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki drew the graphic of that, and she drew the logo, the ghost logo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not a drawer like that. Yeah,
she's
helped with all that. You know, yeah.
Don't strike me as a
I
drawer.
can draw weird stuff. Like, I'm more of like the scratchy draw, like drawing type.
You just kind of scribble.
Yeah, like
Call it art.
it looks like a kid. A kid drew it. Like
Okay.
that's me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of the stuff like it really hasn't. And the more drawn stuff, we've paid people for it or like gotten hooked up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like your other graphic, the Thick Boo. Like you know what I mean? Like
Right.
C
Shout
Flip
out.
helped out with that,
shout
and
out.
then
Shout out C Flip.
you know.
Absolutely. You don't know how many people with the
But I also
anarchy.
don't claim to draw my stuff. That's
Right.
the thing. Is I tell people like I just mash things up. You know what I mean?
So you're doesn't bug you at all, right? Like when there's certain brands who draw everything and everything's original art, not an issue for you.
That's sick.
Right.
But you're not coming out with as many graphics as I am.
That's true.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
Like that's the thing is like I want to come out with new stuff all the time. That like me drawing it, that would be so much of my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, there's a ghetto bird
Yeah.
going over us. Shout out.
Santana.
Yeah. Shout out Santa Ana.
Yeah.
I was gonna say shout out to Ghetto Bird, but hell no.
Hell no.
As far as like when it comes to drops, and the graphics that go into each drop, how thought out is that? Like, is it real? Like, what's your process on drops?
I try to see what makes sense, like what kind of matches with each other or looks the best. There's been times where I've asked you guys, like in the group chat, and like get people's feedback.
Right.
But sometimes it's like it overwhelms me because there's 5 voices, and they're like, "Oh, this one," and I'm like, fuck, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they'll come out eventually if I'm not trying. I can't please everyone. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just kind of what's matching, and like I've tried. There's kind of been a cycle of like I've tried to do like a horror graphic in like every drop, and that's kind of like been since the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's like it's pretty routine. You know what I mean?
Okay. What about the as far as obviously there's like a running joke, right? When you order stuff from fingerboard companies, it takes forever to ship and all
Yeah.
that. Obviously, we've experienced the whole someone places an order and they hit you up the next day for tracking. A lot of people don't know what goes into it, right?
Yeah.
Talk us through that. Like when someone if I go to the website right now, order a board, is it already made? Are we just getting it cut? Are we immediately pressing it? Or what does that look like? Because what are we talking? Like a week long ship time, 2 week long?
I put 2 to 3 weeks just because it's like
Handmade products.
Well, it's handmade products, and I did that based on like other companies like ship times. You know what I mean? Like the bigger companies.
Right.
So I based mine off the exact same thing that they did because I'm not saying I'm on the same ballpark, but it's like I just feel like that's fair. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it pretty much comes from when you order it. I already have them pressed, so it's like if you're like, oh, I want a red ply, I'll look in my stack. If I have a red ply, I'll do it. If not, I might do a burgundy for you because it's the closest thing. You know what I mean? I try to have enough of color of everything, but like, say if I have 10 orders and it's 10 boards, I pretty much write everybody's name down with the order, with what it is, size, graphic, all that, and then I start picking them out.
Yeah.
Then I drill them, I countersink them, and then I route them, and then I hand them. You know what I mean?
Hand sand them.
Hand sand them.
Sound like you said hand them.
Well, I almost choked.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah,
I was like, what the hell is a hand?
Yeah. I hand sand them, and then you know what I mean. I go from there, and then there's a clear coating. You know what I mean? And then I hit it with a clear coat, and then I hit it with a 3000, so it makes it smooth. And I hit it with another 2 clear coats, and then I put the graphic on, and then I clear coat the top, and I stamp it. So it's definitely a process.
A little bit of a process.
I mean, like I can easily get 10 boards done probably within that day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they're going to ship that day.
Right.
Or it also depends on like the amount of orders, because like if I have 50 boards, I have to write all that stuff out, and then I have to like set all that in the order of by size, like by the size and the mold, like high, low, and then I drill them, do the same process. So sometimes it takes a little bit, and I don't work Sunday, Monday because that's just like my days to myself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You need days to yourself.
So it's like
even when you work for yourself, you need days to yourself.
So when the drop happens on Saturday, I'm not even in there for the next 2 days. You know what I mean? Like to kind of get a jump on it.
So what you're saying is this is not Amazon.
No, 100%. I've tried to cut them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like like the first drop we ever did. Like when you were first on the team.
Yeah.
I made everything. Like you know what I mean? And it didn't. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it like tanked, but I did like 10 boards.
Yeah.
But I made like 70. And I was like, oh, damn. Like,
Yeah.
I have all these boards sitting here, and they like sold throughout time. But it was just like, and that was when it clicked to me. And I talked to somebody, and they were like, Alex, he was like, I just make them to order. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, the pre-done, he's like, I've wasted so much stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not in the position to waste it. I don't have much money. So I was like, I'll make it, you know what I mean? And it was a lot in the beginning. It was a lot more customizable.
Yeah.
Especially because of you.
Thank you.
Because you were like, like pick your color and all that. And then like, I would have to like.
It seemed like the better way to go.
No, it
until
helped.
you get like 70 boards in one drop.
It definitely helped, and it stoked people out. That's my thing is, if you put a color, I try to get it. You know what I mean? Like, I've even had people like hit me back and be like, hey, I asked for red, like you gave me orange. And I'm like, it says on the thing that it may vary. You can ask for a color, but I might not have it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, and I don't want to, I don't want to
break hearts.
Well, yeah, because I've ordered boards from people and I'm like, oh, that color's sick. And then I'll get like a color and I'm like,
wow,
God damn it. I hate this. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
But it's all part of it. Like, I'll still ride it, but I'm like, God damn it. I should have I wish I got that maple. You know what I mean? Like,
right. When it comes to, obviously, with the brand growing as fast as it is, right, and people really messing with the brand heavy, Father Awful has become kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
I don't care.
Being a thing?
No.
Okay. So you just kind of go with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of funny to me.
Right. He who is awful.
Yeah.
Father
Awful. Even Jake calls me Father Awful sometimes.
The awful one. Shout out Jake.
Yeah. And it's like, we're homies. You know what I mean? Like, that's the funny thing with it is like, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like we all call you like random nicknames. Yeah. I honestly, if you don't have a nickname with your homies, it's like, are you guys really homies? You know what I mean? Like,
hell yeah.
You got to make fun of your friends and like kind of do that, like, because you love them. You know?
No. When Jake calls you Daddy D in the group chat.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
It really gets me going.
I was about to say, I like that. Are we ever going to get a Father Awful graphic?
That's a controversial thing of, do I want to give myself my own graphic? But you have put it in the sense, like in the terms of like a meet your maker. You know what I mean? Like I would probably do it maybe as a guest model where it's like, oh, a Dylon Blackledge guest model. But I also have to like, I ride for ecstasy. So I'd have to like talk to Isaac and see what he thinks about it.
Pretty much yell at Isaac. I'm doing my own board.
But that's like the thing is like, it would be so shit because it would be against like what I'm like kind of against. Like that was the whole thing with like me riding for a fingerboard company and owning a thing is like, I did it because like Isaac wanted me to ride for it. And like, I don't know. I just wanted to help him out and like, you know what I mean? Like he's my homie. Right. So it's like, it seemed like cool, but like, I don't know. I never thought I'd ride for another company just because it's like,
no,
especially boards because I make them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that ties in perfect to like the next set of questions before we ultimately start wrapping up. Like when it comes to the team, right? Speaking of Isaac, there he is, crunching concrete. That sounded gross, pause. But as far as the team, how important do you think it is for brands to have a solid team, and what role do you feel like the teams should play in the grand aspect of like a fingerboard company?
I mean, everybody's going to help to their ability. You know what I mean? Like, my personal thing with it is I wanted to just make a team that, like, I was stoked on to where, like, when we hung out, it was fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know, just, like, it just made it so natural. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's, like, what I've lacked in the past. Like, you know what I mean? That was, like, the one thing was, like, sorry, it's, like, it was, like, everybody was so spread apart that we never hung out. You know what I mean? So it was, like, this was, like, oh, I want it to be, like, yes, I do have people from our area, but I do have people not from our area. But a lot of those people, like, you know what I mean? Like, I FaceTime them and, like, we'll kick it and, like, bullshit, or, like, we'll play, you know, Fortnite or something, you know what I mean? And it's, like, I don't know, it's just fun, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the aspect of, like, you want your team to be, like, friends, but it's also you want people that are, like, down for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. When looking for team riders or when considering someone to be on the team, and not just for Awful, right? Because we've had this conversation, but for other teams and stuff like that, do you feel like talent is the end all be all when it comes to being sponsored or getting on a team?
No. Like
There's some
no.
there's like a core fingerboarder out there punching the air like I can triple hard flip.
Yeah.
I can switch heel at 10. I don't know.
That's cool that you can do all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, there's so many good fingerboarders just in general that like all they do is complain on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, why would you? No one wants to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like,
But Dylon, they can do everything switch.
I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like it's like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like something I would want to hang out with or like be around. So it's like, why would I have them involved in my company? Let alone like give bad blood to my company.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody has to like contribute a little bit. And it's like I'm not even opposed from like people riding other boards, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like you can do whatever you want. It's just
is that like an unspoken rule though? I mean, because in skateboarding that wouldn't fly.
Exactly. Skateboarding, it's a little bit different. I'm saying you can ride it. I don't give a shit. Like, if you're at an event, do your thing, like whatever. But like if you're filming or like your content goes on like Instagram, like it better not be on another board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm not gonna kick somebody off right away, but I'm like,
no,
like,
I feel that
this ain't cool. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because you know what I mean? I give people money pretty much. Like I give people my free like my time of making whatever boards they want. Like that's pretty much money I'm paying for the materials. You know, and so it's like, you know what I mean? And that's a guaranteed thing every month that I give people 2 boards. So it's like,
right.
You know what I mean? If you're just fucking off and like skating somebody else's shit, then it's like it's kind of like backwards. It's fucked up. You know?
Yeah. When it comes to talking about the team, it kind of goes into talking about sponsorships. As far as for being an owner of a brand, I'm sure you get it all the time, right? In the DMs, sponsor me. How can I get on the team? Just to kind of touch on it real quick, just give us the do's and don'ts of how to. Holy shit! How to try to get sponsored? Like, what are we looking at? Like, what are some things you should do? What are some things you should not do?
I mean, definitely the do is support. You know what I mean? Any support in the community is just going to grow fingerboarding in general. Showing support and kind of being consistent, like, you know what I mean? Like if you're being consistent to like showing that you mess with the company and like you post about it and you know what I mean? Like you show that you like it, then it's like it's going to show somebody, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't.
Jeez.
A leaf blower or something?
I don't know what to say. I don't know, man. But
Yeah.
You picked the wrong day.
Friday. Dude.
Note to self: no podcasting on Fridays.
I know.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things where it's I don't know. It's kind of it's hard. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to say.
Okay. To simplify it, is sending somebody a message that says "sponsor me" gonna get you sponsored?
No.
No.
I mean, even all the stuff like, I'd be like, oh, like I don't know, like I've gotten like stuff where it's like, hey, like my grandma passed away, like can I get a free board? I'm like,
wow, dude, the trauma dump.
That's fucked. You know what I mean?
Yo,
Because
my
it's like,
dog
what if
just
grandma
died.
didn't die? You know what I mean? Like
Shout out.
You're
shout
just
out grandmas.
you're using grandma to get some free stuff. You know what I mean?
Damn, I didn't even think about it.
So it's like, you know, and people don't see that. I think people just like the word sponsor me has been such a big thing for forever that people just want to be sponsored. They don't give a fuck about like
they don't
company,
even know what it means.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just want to be like, oh shit, like I ride like you want to have a NASCAR list of sponsors, and it's like, yeah, but like, don't you want to be like part of a team that like you care about or like you want to grow? You know what I mean? Like
the long list of sponsors kind of cheapens it for me.
Yeah, like I don't know, like it's always taking it back towards skateboarding. But like when I skated, like I never tried to skate for anything that I didn't want to skate for. You know what I mean? Like, why am I just gonna get stuff that like I don't? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you're not gonna like or want to ride or you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Just to kind of tie it back into your own fingerboarding real quick, what are your current sponsors right now, and what are some dream sponsors?
Current, Slush, and Ecstasy.
Ecstasy. Shout out Isaac.
Yeah.
And you do have pro boards now.
I do. I have 2. I have 2 pro boards on Ecstasy.
And Blackledge is the real last name.
Yeah, it's my
That's
real
not just some
government
made up
last name. Yes.
like Dirk Diggler type name.
No, it's Native American actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I doubt that I'm any portion Native American to benefit from it, but yeah, it's Native American.
Dude, never know.
Yeah.
Okay. Dream sponsors.
I would definitely say a dynamic would be sick.
Shout out Scott.
You know what I
That would
mean?
be
Like,
super sick.
A dynamic would be tight just because, like, I don't know. It's the best truck company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me. To
no,
me.
it's okay.
Sorry, Ollie. But
Okay.
like,
If Ollie's watching it, shout out
Yeah.
Ollie. That was Dylan, not me.
hey, we can bond on Blink-182.
Yeah, Dylan said that, not me.
Yeah. I mean, I've fucked with pyro for a long time. I've probably had over 40 pairs of pyros, but
Shout out Pyro.
I wouldn't say really much after that. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I already got the shit that I want, and like I said, I don't really want a laundry list of sponsors, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe an obstacle would be cool, but like even that, it's just like I like to fingerboard so much shit that I don't want to be like tied down to like one thing.
You almost had an obstacle, right?
I did. I did.
Okay,
I did
well,
almost have an obstacle.
That's
yeah.
a story for another pod.
Yeah, that is a
Story
we
for
can do
another
a
pod.
side thing for that. We'll do a side little thing.
Absolutely. Okay. Last couple questions here to wrap it up here for you.
Yes.
Okay. What I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about our awful video
Oh,
that's
yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give us a little 30-second soundbite
A little 30-second soundbite.
or a minute.
No, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to do I wanted to do a full length. It was just kind of like time, and we all kind of collectively talked about it, and it's finally gonna happen. It's in
What
the
is it called?
It's called In Denial.
In Denial. Sounds so like
April 27th. There's gonna be an event at Slush Cult, and then 2 p.m. we're gonna go over to the Frida Theater. It's gonna be premiered right there for everybody to watch, and we're gonna probably set it up. I'm going to talk to you actually about it to maybe do a live setup at the same exact time for YouTube. So people that don't get to watch it with us get to watch it like online too.
absolutely. And so this is who's this going to consist of? I know we have some surprises obviously in the video, but what are we talking? We're talking. You obviously have a part.
Yes, I'm going to do a part. You obviously, Glosif, and then we
Shout out
got
Glow.
Jake, and then Nano.
Big
and
Nano.
then we got some introductions
Okay.
too.
Little pod exclusive.
Little pod exclusive,
Okay.
little introductions that we're gonna put in there,
And obviously we got the homies.
and the big homie section. Exactly.
Homie section.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is how we're gonna wrap up the pod, right? Sorry about all the sound in the background. We didn't realize it was gonna be a construction day.
It's all good.
Here's how
Makes
we're
it
gonna
even
wrap
better.
it up. We're gonna do 2 things.
Okay.
3 things. Bro, I was about to say, like, someone back there knows you're doing an interview. Can we just open the door and just scream something at them?
All right.
It's like, bro, we got 10 minutes. All right. Hot takes. No context.
It's just like
I'm going to give you
lightning-
2. I'm going to
lightning
give you,
round, or what?
lightning round. I'm just going to give you two words or 2 phrases.
okay.
You pick the first one. No context, no explaining your answer.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
No passing. You have to answer all of them. And you cannot say both.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Skateboarding, fingerboarding.
Skateboarding.
Dynamic or Black River?
Dynamic.
Kickflip, heel flip.
Kickflip.
Dog or cat?
Cats.
Plastic or urethane wheels?
Your thing.
All right, perfect. You survived. All right, here's another one for you. Smash, marry, kill. Slush God, Mike Schneider, me. Go.
Smash, marry, kill.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Please don't kill me.
I'm killing Mike. I'll smash you and I'll marry Clayton.
No, I was like, I don't know. Why would you marry Clay over me? I feel like I'm more like wife. Like,
I don't know. He's got his shit together.
that's true.
Yeah.
He
You know what I
also,
mean? Like,
and I got more of the
also,
body.
he doesn't sweat while he sleeps, so it's like if we cuddle, you know what I mean? I'm not
And I
drenched.
do, yeah. And I got more of the body.
I don't
let's
really
face it.
cuddle anyways, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like,
Yeah, that time you put me on the team and you're just like, we just want you for your body. Like, it makes sense now.
yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Last thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Instagram and we're going to check the questions we got for you. And to make sure that this isn't super long, you're just going to give the most bare minimum answers. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, not give me the bare minimum answers. All right, here we go. I'm just going to rattle some off. All right? I love that one. It says, where'd I get heat transfers? Alibaba. Shout out Alibaba.
Hey, number one question. I'm telling you.
First question. Does it clap?
Does it clap? Yes.
Does it clap? Favorite skate brand of all time?
Baker.
When is Thick Boy 3 coming out?
That's up to you.
Shout out Teak Tuning. Where do you see Awful in 5 years?
Still running.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Someone said Gifted Hater reviewed your skate part.
Did he?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
We have to check that out. When are you going to make 50 millimeter decks?
I got 38.
How awfully big is the Awful stick? Shout out Andy.
30 millimeter.
Shout out Andy. Any collabs coming soon?
Mild.
Ooh, shout out Mild. Let's see. Josh says, put me on the team.
He's already flow.
No, yeah, not a question. Let's see. Do you really press all the decks with your cheeks?
No.
Why'd you pause for that long? Someone says, how did you meet FB.Christopher? We talked about that. We met in a car looking deep into each other's eyes.
Clayton took me on a date, and then Chris third wheeled.
Here we go. Yo, you were definitely the third wheel considering Clayton and I.
Hey, he picked me up first.
Okay, but okay,
Third
you're
wheel.
right. When are we getting another Awful shirt?
This year. And hoodies.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all you're going to give him this year? That's like
I got to
8
come up
months?
with a design.
All right.
I'll let you guys decide the designs. I'll put 5 up, and you guys can decide what one it is.
I love it. Jake wants to know what time the trailer's dropping.
It was already 9:30 this morning.
Well, shout out Jake. Last question. How awful is Father Awful?
Fucking terrible.
I love you, dude. Thanks so much for doing this with me.
I love you too.
Shout out Slush. Shout out Pyro. Shout out obviously Awful.
Yes.
Awful God. Thanks so much for doing this. Bigspin podcast. Shout out Jake.
Shout
the
out our
wives in the
girlfriends,
corner.
yes.
Yeah, Nikki,
Oh,
Jolene. Shout out
girlfriend,
Slush.
your wife.
Yeah, well, wives.
Yeah.
You know. Shout out the dudes who were doing construction, like super personal in the background. The ghetto bird who flew over a couple times.
Hey, dude, it's not Santa Ana unless you get fucking noise.
And this isn't the really good professional podcast. This is the Big Spin podcast, homie. Love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Later.